manager for the Eastern US. And what that basically was literally a carbon copy of this exact same job where I traveled from Louisiana to Minnesota, Florida to Maine, and just did opportunity meetings for a company called Young Living. Many of you may or may not have heard of them. And I worked in that capacity for almost 4 years. And then I bounced and I went over to their competitor named doTERRA. And I worked as their US sales manager, US and Canada sales manager for about a full year. And at that point, I decided that I was about 5 years into direct sales, that I was maybe on the wrong side of the coin. And how it happened was I was sitting at my desk at a corporate, and I was kind of working with a girl. Honestly, it was a similar workshop to kind of what we're doing tonight. And her name was Brianna, and she graduated from high school the same year that I did. We didn't know each other, but she was my exact same age, and she made more in 1 month than I made in an entire year. And I thought to myself, I am on the wrong side of this desk. And so the wheels started to turn. And to make a long story short, I decided to step down and step away as the US sales manager, to leave my corporate job, to leave my salary, and completely jump in with 2 feet into direct sales. And so I built a business with doTERRA for 12 years. It was a multinational business. We had team members in 63 countries and in all 50 states. And it was an amazing business that provided, an amazing opportunity for my family and I to live in different places and travel around the world and really grow and develop teams. Gayla and I have spoken a little bit about this, but the thing, honestly, that it taught me more than anything was humans, human nature, the volunteer army that we all work with, right? That want to be part of this all the time. And we get to figure out how to work with different personalities, people that have really high educations, or maybe have spent time in the doctor space, where people that have no education, maybe they never finished high school, or things of that nature. And you get to do everything in between. You get to find out about people on a very personal level, right? Birthdays and anniversaries and deaths and pets and kids and divorces, and like all of these different things that you don't typically get in traditional business. And it has taught me so much, not only about myself, but just about humans and human nature and human beings. So what I will hope that I can accomplish in working with your team, Gayla, is I've got a lot of great, funny, nutty ideas that I've done over the years, things that have worked, and then I've got a lot of stuff that hasn't worked. And my whole thing is, how can we work to motivate others, help people understand how to move the needle without, first and foremost, you're going to have to do some of the heavy lifting yourself, right? To launch your business, to get it off the ground. But then once you kind of get your business rolling, like, we oftentimes, it's overused, but the snowball analogy, right? First of all, you're packing it in your hands, then you start rolling it. And pretty soon, as you're building a snowman, the ball is so big, you can't even lift it to the next level, right? And that's going to happen in your business. And it's going to be, short time for some of you, and it'll be longer times for others, right? It just depends on kind of how you're going. But once the snowball goes, it's a really wild ride, and you are going to absolutely love it. So that's a little bit of my background. I have some notes, Gayla, if it's all right with you. I'm just going to go right into my notes, and then you and I can have a conversation towards the end, and then maybe we can gather some questions if that's all right. So for a second, awesome. So I want everyone to just pause for a second, close your eyes. I can't see anybody's faces because I'm doing this on my phone. So I'm not going to hold your feet to the fire on if you're doing it or not. But I want you to imagine that I am opening my wallet right now, and I am going to hand you a crisp $100 bill. Okay. Now, some of you have seen a crisp $100 bill fresh out of the mint, right out of the bank, that Benjamin Franklin, that they're not fakes, right? So they have the ribbons on them, and then they have the watermarks. I want you to really look at that $100 bill. I want you to smell that $100 bill. I want you to feel how crisp it is in your hand. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to take a look at that bill, and I want you to rip a third of the bill off. Rip it off. So in your imaginary brain, with this imaginary $100 bill, I want you to rip that third of the bill off, and I want you to give it back to me. And then I want you to ask yourself, how did that make me feel? Right? Because we all know how nice a $100 bill feels, right? And that crispness and the smell of it, we know what it can purchase and what it can buy. Well, what we want to talk about tonight is our compensation plan and how oftentimes people overlook certain aspects of the compensation plan. And when you overlook certain aspects of the compensation plan, essentially you're just discounting it and you're ripping off a portion of the money that you could earn and you're just giving it right back to our company. And you're saying, you know what? I don't really want to learn this. I don't have the patience, or I don't have the energy, or I'm not smart enough, or I don't whatever, fill in the blank. And that's really what's happening is if you don't take the opportunity to really learn the steps of our compensation plan, then you're really just giving up an opportunity to earn a little bit of money. So there are 9 total ways to earn commissions or bonuses, however you want to say it, with our comp plan. This is not the call to cover all 9 of those. And for anybody who is wanting to do this on a leadership level, I would advise to never cover the entire compensation plan in one training. When I used to train for my team, we had 7 ways of being compensated. It took me 3 weeks of 1-hour sessions. So we would break it up into 3 different sessions and we would teach it over a 3-week period, 1 hour each session. I would highly advise there's 2 additional, take it one bite at a time. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? So do a couple of principles every week, really dial in on it, learn the vernacular, learn the terminology, make sure that you're checking in with your audience to see if they understand and they learn it and they know it as well. So all that to say, we are going to talk about a couple of areas of the comp plan tonight because Gayla and I had a really great conversation this past week when she had a new builder come to her and threw some numbers at her, and she wanted to make sure that those numbers were correct. And so she texted me, and we started kind of going back and forth, and it went very quickly. I could tell between our text conversation that she and I were going to be fast friends because she was talking numbers, she was talking percentages, she was asking the right questions, which means she studied the comp plan. I would highly advise every one of you to really learn the comp plan the best that you can. So I hope you have, I said this earlier on our Facebook Live, and you'll hear me say it 100 times, and some old person told me this years ago, and I've never forgot it. He was old then, but now I'm like his same age, so I have to say that, anyways, I want you to have a short, they say the shortest pencil is better than the longest memory. So don't assume that you can remember everything I'm going to say. If there's just 1 or 2 lines, just jot them down or text them to yourself, put them in your notes. But just remember that the shortest pencil is better than the longest memory. So I say that to kick off our first topic tonight, and that is of the 9 ways to be compensated, the very top one is called retail, right? And most of us are used to knowing what retail is. It's when you go into the grocery store and you pay full price for something, or you go to the car lot, you're paying full price. It's a full price of whatever that might be. And there's a myriad of different reasons why somebody would come in and pay full price. One, they might not want to be involved in direct sales. They just want to use the product. Okay, that's fine. That's great. They don't want the pressure of building a team. Okay. Okay, perfect. They don't want to be on, all of those things are reasons why somebody might want to come in. Do we still care about those people? The short answer to that is absolutely. We absolutely care about those people. Those people are crucial to our business for a myriad of different reasons. First and foremost, from a field perspective or from your perspective, we need customers because customers have a certain type of commission or bonus attached to them. And we're going to talk about it in just a second. From a corporation side, to make sure that we're compliant with the government, we have to make sure that we have so many customers in relation to so many brand partners, and that keeps us in a legal space good to go. So the reason why our company has retail and customer premium commissions and bonuses is because it helps us as well, and we need to incentivize you to go out there and recruit customers. So let's talk really quick about what a retail earning is. So each product that we offer has a flat rate commission that's attached to it. Okay, so that might seem different to you because you might be used to using percentages and trying to figure out, well, where they fit in my binary structure or where they fit in my tree and all of that stuff. I just want you to put that aside for 1 second and just think, when I'm selling or offering or sharing a product with somebody and they purchase it at retail price, I am going to get a flat commission that is attached directly to that product. Now, you might say, well, the products cost different amounts. So how do I know what I earn as a commission? So in your virtual office, if you go to the resources section, so if you log in and on your home page, you'll see on the upper right tab, there's a resource, and you click on it, and it'll take you to Compensation 2.0 documents. There's a drop-down menu on that page. And when you get to the Compensation 2.0 documents, you will see a document that is titled Compensation Plan Product Pricing Breakdown. And in that 3-sheet document, it will give you every single affiliated commission associated with all of our products. So that's as easy as you're ever going to get any level of our compensation plan. Is just if you sell any product to anybody, there is a retail commission attached to that. So as an example, if you were going to sell retail at X39, I believe the number is $50. Gayla, call me out on that if I'm incorrect. But if you were to sell an X39 to someone, your commission, your retail commission on that would be $50. Now, if you were to sell it to them and they were a preferred customer or a customer, there's a different commission associated with it, but all of that is laid out to you on your sheet. So do you want me to go through the steps of getting to that pricing breakdown again, Gayla, or do you think you have them?
Yeah, I don't think many people do the retail anyway. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
We're just talking about retail,
Mainly-
but just it also has all of the customers and preferred customers, customer plus, all of that stuff is on there. So it's a great reference to have.
Okay, first of all, I got to say really quick, it wasn't me that studied the comp plan because I'm a blue. Okay. It was John. And I want y'all to also thank God for Nick and John. And of course, the rocket scientist, Joe, because he's got our app going. But John is the one that wrote this down. And I sent it to Nick saying, this cannot be true. Like, this cannot be true. And he said this, and he broke it down. So yeah, I want them to know that. And then listen, here's another thing. Because when you say that big number, okay, creates that huge amount of income, can we break that down to half and then half so that people, because they just want to make an extra $25,000 a year, they know how many, that, because this is the main reason I wanted this beginning. So they understand the preferred customer and plus program and how much money they can make just from customers, because it's so much easier bringing in somebody with an X39 than saying, okay, well, you got to buy 3 of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is
100%.
going to be huge for everybody.
Love it. So, okay, so let's pivot a little bit away from retail. So we know what retail is, and now we're going to dive into customer or preferred customer plus is another way that we say that, right? All that really means is I want to get this product, but I want to get it at wholesale price. Okay. Okay, perfect. Awesome. You're a preferred customer if you want to get it at wholesale price. And if you want to be a preferred customer plus, you're doing that on auto ship, right? And you pay for a subscription to do that. There's also some additional kickers and benefits that are included in that. I am not going to touch on those tonight. That's more of a product related phone call. This is more of a compensation related phone call. So let's talk a little bit about what is a customer premium, or the second way that you can earn a commission with our company. It's available first and foremost to brand partners with personally enrolled purchasing customers. Okay. Now there's a minimum of 300 customer qualifying volume, or what we shorten up to say CQV, in a rolling 31-day period that makes you eligible to earn commissions. Now I can already, even though I can't see any of your faces, I can just hear moans through this phone of like, what did he just say? Brand partner, customer qualifying volume, rolling 31-day period. This is exactly the kind of vernacular I'm talking about. It's going to seem like you're learning Japanese, right? It's going to sound like Spanish, where you're like, what the heck is he trying to say? These are just some critical little terms that are not in our regular world that we just need to start to adopt, to study a little bit. And all of these terms are available in the resource section under the Compensation Plan 2.0 header, where you can break down what these things are. Okay. So we're still talking about customer premiums. By having 300 customers going to qualify for customer premiums. What that really means is you're going to get paid a percentage on various volumes. Okay. So the first level that you're going to get paid for a customer premium is for volume between 300 and 599. And you're going to get paid a 5% commission on volume, on customer qualifying volume, or CQV, when that happens in a rolling 31-day period. The second tier is if you have 600 volume to 1,199 in volume. And we're going to double your commission on that. That's going to be a 10% commission if you fall into that category. And the last one is easy. It's 1,200 plus. And we're going to double the commission again on that one. So for tonight's example that I'm going to jump into here in just a sec, we are going to use the 20% calculation as though you have at least 1,200 in volume on a monthly 31-day rolling cycle coming in through your business, which means that you're qualifying yourself always for the 20% customer premium override on that. Okay. So how we are going to do that is I want you to think,
Nick, for the blues in the house, does everybody grab a hold of what he's saying? You're going so quick because you're so good at this. Yeah. I just want to make sure they're grasping you. Everybody raise your hand.
Oh, that would be a big fat negatory, but go ahead.
Hey,
Don't wait for me.
The good news is we're recording it so we can go back and watch it again.
Well, I'm getting ready to print off what you just said anyway.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. So I want you to think for a second here. This is a big number that I'm about ready to tell you. And I don't want you to think it's too hard. That's obviously going to be too hard to do. So I'm going to immediately discount it. Don't think that. All right. Because I'm going to reverse engineer it for you. And then we're going to take it down into an even more digestible bite size. Okay. So with those two commissions that we just talked about, retail and premium customer premiums, I want to talk about how you could, just using those two elements of our 9-portion comp plan, you could make $100,000 a year in those two elements. Okay. Like I said, it's a big number. Some of you might have to like really germinate and wrap your head around that for a second. But let's talk about how that might look if you used those two areas of the comp plan. So the goal here is if you were just going to sign up customers, no brand partners, nothing else. Okay. We're just talking about customers. To get to $100,000 a year, you would need 236 personally sponsored ordering customers. And each of those customers, for simplicity's sake, we're just going to say they order one X39. Okay. So we're talking about one product to 236 people on a regular basis. Now you might say, I haven't even met 236 people in my life. That's maybe true, right? Others might say, man, I have 2,000 people in my phone, like 236 isn't going to be a problem at all to get to. And you're going to fall somewhere in that level, right? This isn't supposed to be simple. It's supposed to be a reverse engineer to how to get to 100,000. So let's assume that you can get 236 personally sponsored customers. And each of those customers is going to do one X39 a month. Now, fun little side note on this. This is starting to break it down just a little bit. If your customer orders a sleeve of X39 and X49, right? Because they want to be multi-product person. There's a myriad of reasons why they may or may not want that. If they do that, so now one customer is just getting X39 and X49, and each of those customers is doing that, you just cut your number in half. So you don't have to find 236. Now you only got to find 118. That makes sense to everybody? So if they're—
Is that the same though if they get the bundle?
That's a good question, because there is probably an adjustment on price on the bundle.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit less on that one. Thank you for calling that out. But the point is I'm trying to get from the big 236 down to a more digestible number of 118, right? Yeah. And if you think, a lot of households, they have at least 2 adults in there. Not always, but sometimes, and sometimes you might even have more, depending on, kids' ages and all things of that nature, and if your parents live with you now or what that might be. So that's, first of all, that first goal is 236. If we have them all on X39, if we put them on X39 and 49, now we're down to 118. Second thing I want you to remember. So retail earnings from those 236 customers, all ordering one X39 a month, would be what? Does anybody want to just shoot just a guess? You could put it in the chat, or you could come off mute and just do 1 or 2 guesses.
John is the man. He'll get it. Watch.
You want to know the volume of it?
I want to know from retail earnings.
Yeah, what you're going to earn.
What you would earn off of 236 customers with one X39 sleeve.
Okay, let's see here. I have to look at my spreadsheet.
$11,800.
Oh, there's another green. What was it, Marcia?
You can just take, all you have to do is take
retail, Nick. It's retail for $50 each, so it's $11,000.
It's
35.4%.
No, we're not talking
per
retail. We're
customer.
talking preferred
we're
customers,
talking about
right?
preferred customer plus. Sorry, I did
Yeah.
not make that clear. Sorry about that.
Okay, so 236.
Oh, that's different.
4720.
77.
Say that again.
4720.
4720. Correct. I don't know who said that, but somebody just got a free sleeve from Gayla or myself, whoever sends it to you first.
Or 35.4% for each customer.
Love it. I love it. So a retail earning for 236 customers, just because we're talking about that one bonus that we talked at the very top of the call, we're doing $20 per sleeve of X39. So 20 times 236 is $4,720 a month. One area of the comp plan. Okay. That's how the math breaks down on that one. So that's retail earnings on those customers. Now we're going to plug in the second step of the comp plan, customer premium earnings. Okay. And we're going to calculate that at that 20% level because we're assuming that we have at least 1,200 in volume. Obviously, with that many customers, we're obviously going to have that.
Yeah.
So we're going to calculate that at a 20% level. And does anybody want to just guess? This one is a little bit longer math equation, what that number might be. 236 with one sleeve of X39 each.
It's let's see, 236. I gotta.
It's just time 20% is 944.
No, you got to
You
take
gotta-
the business volume of $77. So you
There
take
you go.
it'd be 15.80 times 236.
So you've got 236 sleeves. The volume on the X39 is 77. And so you're going to times those two together. That's going to be 18,172. Then you take that 18,172 and you times that by 20%. So that number is 3,634. Okay.
I
So
think
those
you
are-
meant 1,800. You said 18,000. I'm like, what?
No, it is. It's 18,000.
It is
That's how much
18,000?
that's how much volume it would generate. 236 people.
Oh,
ordering.
volume. Okay. Okay. I thought you
I'm
meant income. I'm
clearly
like,
on the wrong call. My head is just spinning.
we're gonna break it down for you. So just
Okay.
be patient with me.
Okay.
So the total monthly earnings on these two commissions that we just talked about, just retail and customer premiums, those two things, the total monthly earnings for you would be $8,354. That's assuming that you have 236 customers ordering one X39, or you have 118 customers ordering an X39 and an X49. That can get you an $8,354 earning. Now, how do we get
A
to the
month.
100,000 mark? You times that by 12. So 8,354 times 12 is $100,248 off of
Okay.
two
okay. Okay.
portions of the comp plan. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Let the blue here
Okay.
come in with you. So Kelly and all my other blues can grab a hold of this. So 236 people just with that X39, your volume that you get paid on is 77. You know how an X39 costs $99?
Mhm.
You only get paid 77 because the other percent goes to the company. Y'all with
On the
me?
bonus.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So 77 with 236 people, remember you make $20 on each one of them. So you
Mhm.
take $20 times 236, Nick? He's
That's
frozen
for
again.
retail.
Nick, is
That's
that right?
retail.
Sorry, you
Yeah, the
froze
first
up.
one is the retail. Yeah, so 236 people times $20. I mean $77. 77 times 20.
Is one
How do you figure out the first one? The
So
236 people.
the first one is 236 people times $20 a sleeve. That's the first
Okay.
number.
And you get how much?
And you get 4,720.
Okay, so your first check you're going to get from all those people monthly is 4,720 just from the retail. And retail they're preferred customers, but that $20 on each one, that's what you're going to make. Now, the 77 that you get paid on is the second way, and you have to have 100. Obviously, you're going to have way more than that. So how do you get to the second one?
So what you're going to do is, remember, sometimes we talk dollars and volume and people get that confused. So every product that we offer has an associated product volume with it, right? So the product might cost $99.
Yes.
But the product volume is what Gayla is saying is 77. So when we talk about, or when we calculate commissions, we always calculate off of the volume, not off of the dollars. And so how we're coming up with our dollar or our volume amount to calculate our 20% is we're taking all of those X39s and we're offering them to the 236 people. And each X39 has an associated product volume of 77. So we're doing 236 times 77,
36 times 77.
which equals
Which equals-
18,172. And then we calculate 20% of 18,172, and that's your customer.
Times 20%.
premium. Yep.
Now, does everybody, now I want to stop here because if you guys don't get a hold of this, if you're not clear, a confused mind does nothing. So this is huge. And then he's going to break it down. Let's go on the smaller. Let's go like 4 levels down, like half that times 4. If
Okay,
you're
can
only
I
gonna make
ask a real quick
25,000, let's do
question?
that. Yes.
Can I ask a real quick question? Okay,
Yep.
I'm backing up to where he said the customer QV, you get 5% on 300 to 599, 10% on 600 to 1199, and 20% on 1200 or more. How is that calculated? Weekly? On your check? You see what I'm saying?
It's
Nick, do you
weekly on
rather-
the check.
So say that one more time.
Okay, I'm where
The
it
first
says
thing you talked about.
the first thing you talked about, but you said it was broken down 300 to 599 is 5%, 600 to 1199 is 10%, and 1200 or more is 20%. Now, is that just weekly or is that monthly?
So what we do, that's a great question. And honestly, I love that you're asking it because I came from a business that did everything monthly. And this is my first time working in a space where things are coming on weekly. So this is the thing that you have to remember with this is we're looking at 31 days on a rolling cycle before. So like for today, March 2nd, how we're paying you commissions, how we're figuring out what percentage you're at is we're looking at your volume for the last 31 days.
Okay.
And then we're paying you next week according to that percentage. Does that make
Okay,
sense?
so my volume, the second circle, what is that company volume? Is that the second circle?
That is GBU, I think, isn't it, Nick? The second, you don't talk shit when you're looking at your volumes. The first one is your PV. The
It's
second one, I think, is your
QD,
GBU.
Qualified downline volume.
QDV.
Yeah.
Now, is that the 20%?
That's the overall volume, your qualified downline volume that we're looking at for your whole group. But that might not be customer volume only. That might be brand partner volume as well. So we're just talking about
You're just talking about
volume.
customer. So there's no way to break that down in that thing right there, in that.
I'm
That's
gonna
your
pause
first one, Kelly.
because I
your
have
first
my.
one.
Oh, is it in the
Your
first one?
first one, Nick. That's where she's confused. It's your first circle.
The PV
Yeah.
is customers.
Yes.
Okay, so mine is always over 1200, so then I'm making the 20% volume, right? Or the
Yes.
20% rank. Okay, all right, that's where I needed to be cleared on. Okay.
Awesome. I'm going to
Okay,
pause
thank
for
you.
just a second. My colleague is also on the call. Shirley is my counterpart that is over the Western US. Shirley, did we understand that correctly?
Hey, Nick. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Yes. Hi. So all the points coming from you retail customers and you prefer customers, it's gonna count as your personal volume. So it's part of your PV. And
Cool.
it's exactly like Kelly said. It's if you see the number and it's over 1,200 points every week, that means that you're being maximizing that bonus. And just a little note too, when you have PC and PC Plus, because it's counting as your personal volume, even if you don't place orders, their points counts as your personal orders. So that is one of the great things in life right now that you don't even have to have over inventory of anything else.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much, Shirley. All right. Are we okay to move on, Gayla? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
gotta-
everybody okay? I mean, I want you guys to be clear. Okay,
Where?
looks like it.
We can also do this again in the.
Oh, we're gonna do
you
it
know, in a
again. You
couple weeks.
promise.
Yeah.
You told me you're my leader now. We're
I know,
on
that's
this,
right.
baby.
I'm your
It's
guy.
over.
I'm
Yeah.
your guy.
You are
All
my
right.
guy. You're
So
all
we're
their
gonna-
guys too. So
we're gonna pivot away from those two bonuses for a second. I want that to just
oh
simmer.
no, we were gonna do the fourth one down. Do 25,000 to make it so a lot of people are at not up to that 230.
Need 56 customers for 25,000 a year.
Boom. Thank you, John. 56 customers, and
customers. Write that
that's
down.
with one X39, correct?
One X39. And I just take, to make it simple in my head, I just take, we get $20 no matter what. That's 20% of 100. So if you take 77, it's 35.4% for each customer is an easy way to figure it without getting into all the other numbers.
And at 25 grand a year, I appreciate that number because the interesting thing with 56 is it's just 4 numbers above 52. And what's 52 in a year? Weeks. Basically, we're asking for 1 customer a week, more or less, to get to 25 grand a year, right? So if you do 2 customers a week, you're at 50, 3 customers a week, you're at 75, 4 customers a week, you're at 100K. So if you really
Raise
start
your
to
hand right now if your mind is just blown up. Okay, what's 25,000 divided by 12?
well,
2,000.
that's
80
2.
or something.
2,000.
A
Little
little
over.
over 2,000.
How much?
Little over 2,000.
Okay. $2,000 extra a month just by bringing in customers. 52 customers, right?
56 technically, but
56
52 is 1 a week, so it's a little more than 1 a week.
Okay. Is your mind blown? Can you grasp that? With two, like he said, like Nick said when he first got on, you take that $100 and you break it. Well, what if you put $2,000 into your hand every month? How would that change your life right now? You have to look at that, okay? And then you have to say, it's not the how to. How do I find 56 people? Okay, I get $2,000 for 56 people. I'm going to go out and talk to everybody I know about Lifeway. It's not hard, right, Nick? You were a high-end earner. He was a high-end, top of the company, still benefiting. Okay, still benefiting from that work that he did. Okay, so this is not just, well, I'm going to make it for right now. You guys don't, you got to get a hold of it. You're setting up for your life, your family. You can, this is generational. So I just want you to grab a hold of just right now, just grab a hold of 56 people. I'm going to have 56 people get on X39. And then of course, they're going to want another patch. And then so half of 56 is what? 25 and a half. 25 people on a family ordering 2 X39 or 1 person X39, X49, just 25 people. You're making an extra 2,000. Does this excite anyone? Like I was literally almost shaking. We're at the restaurant. I'm texting Nick and John is telling me this. I said, John, this cannot be real. This cannot be true. Okay. This cannot be true. I've worked so crazy hard for the last almost 5 years. Premium packages, all this stuff, and all we got to do is get customers.
You remember when I first came in, I was saying we ought to work with customers more.
Right.
That's why.
Well, there was a reason, so I'm going to leave it at that. We don't have a reason anymore. The compensation plan has changed. We have things in place. We're good. Nick, take it away.
Oh yeah, you're totally fine. Keep chatting. So you're good. Okay, what I wanted to talk about was I want to pivot a little bit away from that. Not because it's not exciting to talk about and it's not incredible, but I do want to just briefly mention because it is hot off the press today as of like this morning. And that is a couple of our ways of being compensated were just given a huge boost this morning, right? In other words, we just added more money in kind of the mix of these mid-rank, up and coming ranks, I should say, titles. Now, I say this high level. I do not want you to get lost in the weeds of having to understand what I'm going to talk about next with what I just previously spoke about. It's different. They're different things. So don't think that they have to build on each other. It's a different way of being compensated. It's all part of our comp plan, but it's just, again, familiarizing yourself with what we offer. So in establishing your LifeWave business, obviously what we just talked about, that's one roadmap that you could use. You could say, I'm going to build this whole business on customers. That's how I'm going to do it. That's the way I want to do it. I want to keep it simple. That's totally fine if you want to do it that way. As I previously mentioned, those are 2 of the 9 ways to be compensated. But I want to just highlight the brand new earning promotion that began today, and it's currently slated to run through July. And there are 2 additional ways to leverage our comp plan to maximize your efforts when it comes to building. The first one is our binary bonus, and we're calling it our binary bonus boost, okay? Triple Bs. And I'm gonna just read my notes, and then Gayla, I'm gonna just copy and paste and send these notes to you so you can share them if you guys want. Because they're a little wordy and they're, break things down, but I don't want people to get lost in that. All right.
Okay.
But the earnings start for brand partners. So the binary bonus is now for brand partners, not for customers, paid as a 3-star manager. So you got to understand what that means. A 3-star manager means you have 110 personal volume, you have 2,500 qualified downline volume, and you have at least 1 leg that has 1,000 in volume. Okay. Now, that might sound like I just spoke Korean to you, and that's okay. We're going to hopefully get you more familiar with what all of that means. But in understanding, working your way up through our titles, you need to understand kind of what it takes to hit those ranks. So for the binary bonus, know this. This is the thing I want you to take away. To start earning that bonus, you need to make it to a 3-star manager. Homework this week, figure out what it is to be a 3-star manager. I just told you, right? There's 3.
Tell us again, one more
There's 3
time.
requirements.
They're listening now.
110 personal volume, 2,500 qualified downline volume, and 1 leg of 1,000. Okay. And so that is what it takes. And you can look at our comp plan, but that's what we're trying to understand. From there, the binary bonus grows. But the first step in the binary bonus is becoming a 3-star manager. So you must have a 300 bonus volume in your pay leg. In this example, you will now earn as a 3-star manager an 8% bonus in your pay or week leg. Okay, that percent payout is increased beginning today by 60% more payout today. So yesterday you would have earned 5% on that volume. Today you now earn 8% on that volume. Okay, as this new little boost into our program. So if you don't understand what the terms pay leg, week leg, bonus volume, 3-star manager are, please get with Gayla, get with your upline, get with a coach or a mentor, start to break those down. Because the more you can understand pay leg, week leg, binary, bonus, all of that stuff is going to help you understand our compensation. So at the rank of a 1-star director, so that's the next step up from a 3-star manager as a 1-star director on the binary bonus, you will now be paid at a full 10%. So again, yesterday, these numbers were 7% and 9% respectively, but beginning today, they have both been bumped up to that 10% mark. So this is huge news because it puts more money back in the pockets of those just getting their business off of the ground. So if you saw an email come out about it, or if you've heard some people talk about it over the last couple of weeks, this is the day that it starts. It's going to be currently running through July. If it's a home run, everybody loves it. Then they even said it right in the email. We will look at adopting it through possibly the end of the year or possibly adopting it indefinitely. So we are really hoping that you will take advantage of this and strive to get to that 3-star manager, and 1-star director level and on up. I'm not going to spend any more time in the binary bonus because I don't want it to cloud you up on what we talked about with our retail stuff. But I'm going to pivot and also talk about one other bonus that got an extra boost today, and that is our level earnings bonus. So it's also available to all active brand partners in a commission week. It pays a percentage based on their paid rank of the brand partner in the commission week of the brand partner's bonus volume up to 3 levels. That was a lot of brand partners and bonus volumes and levels. And I understand that probably went over most of your heads. So it's okay. Don't sweat it. Yesterday, those percentages for active brand partners was 3%, while 1-star managers was 5%. Today, all of level 1 earnings are 7% across the board. So they went from 3 and 5 to now a full 7%. That's
and
a
the
lot.
level earning is your personals.
Yes. Yep. Okay. And let's see, I want to make sure I get my notes right here. Okay, level 2 of that, of the level earnings bonus, has been boosted as well. So yesterday, brand partners could not earn this level at all, right? If you were just a brand partner, you couldn't earn it. Let's see, could not earn this level until they reached the rank of 1-star director. But today, 1-star managers can now get paid 3%. 2-star managers can get paid 4%, and 3-star managers are getting paid a full 5% on this bonus now. Again, we didn't break this bonus down. We didn't give you examples or hypotheticals on this one. I'm just letting you know that these 2 areas of our compensation plan got a huge boost today. So this is another way, either a completely different angle that you can take in building your business, or you can incorporate these into using the same principles that we talked about at the top of the call and build them all together, right? So you can use them all and you'll get little bits and pieces of everything. In a perfect world, sure, everybody gets 236 and they all get their 1x39, and that's how we're going to make our 100K a year. That's a perfect world. None of us live in a perfect world, as we all know. So there's going to be a little bits here. There's going to be, 85 customers and this many preferred customers, and then we're going to have some brand partners in there, and they're all going to start to shape and fall in different places within your organization. And just know that there's different areas of the comp plan where there's a way for you to grab $25 here, $45 there, a 20% earning there, a 7% commission there. And that's the whole point of this, is we're just doing this little steps at a time. So you might be asking yourself why the changes or additions today. And it's a great question. And so our goal is to help brand partners get their LifeWave business, I mentioned this earlier, off the ground. In order to do that, we wanted to get more money back in the pockets of those just starting out. That's the hardest stage, right? You've just packed the snowball. You're taking in, all of the ammunition and the fire from everybody else who's already throwing their snowball, and you're just barely getting yours going. So we need to help you pack a bigger snowball a little bit faster, right? So these 2 bonuses are critical to making that happen. I will note that this isn't the only way to earn a living, right? Focusing on these 2 areas alone. As previously mentioned, we have a full 9 ways. So take the time to really digest those. We are only touching on 4 of those ways tonight. For sake of time, and by the way, I'm going to finish with my notes, and then I'm going to take this conversation to my car because I got to go pick up my daughter and it's snowing outside. So I wanted to give a little bit of a leadership goal. Okay, this is that shortest pencil thing I want you to remember. So get ready to write this down. So if I were you and I were starting my business today, right? If I just signed my agreement today and I signed up online, where would I go? And what would my goals be?
System.
And so this is where I would start to look on my vision board, and I would say, what do I want and how do I want to get it? And I want you to really digest this. I want you to help as many people as you can get to $100 in earnings a week. $100 in earnings a week. So we just talked about a couple of ways of doing that, right? Literally, you could help them get 5 customers. They could get it that week, right? Just by doing that. That's one way, one example of how you could do it, right? But if you can do that by helping team members secure a $100+ a week or $400 a month, you are basically creating a lifetime LifeWave customer by doing that. Because not only are they getting their product paid for, they're also able to realize a couple $100 in real money that they can start to apply in their real life. Okay. Now, some of you might write down $200 in real money or $250 in real money. Others might write down car payment paid, or paid rent, or helped pay the braces, or whatever that might be. I want you to really attach something physical to the earnings for yourself, and I want you to teach that to your group. Because if you can really attach something physical, it becomes so much easier to share when you know that by sharing, it produces X or Y. As you continue to build and develop these smaller groups, ultimately, you are growing your business significantly overall. But a lot of people think, well, how do I grow to a 1-star exec or a 2-star exec or a 2-star presidential, right? People don't just sketch out a 2-star presidential group. They are building these little micro groups all over. There are little groups in Ohio and little groups in Tennessee and little groups in Florida. And then you went on vacation on a cruise and you signed somebody up on the cruise, and that person lived over in Tahiti. And like, there's all of these little micro groups that are just growing. And your purpose, there's an industry term that we call is taprooting, right? Your purpose is to find these little groups, these little fires within your organization, and go and add as much fuel to those fires as you can. That's appropriate, working with their upline, all of that kind of stuff. And by doing that, you are going to build a massive organization one bite at a time. So I'm going to pause there. I'm going to close, but Gayla, I'm going to turn the time back over to you.
Okay.
My phone says it only has 10% battery. So if all of a sudden I go black, then you know why.
Hey, we appreciate you. Go pick up your baby.
Yes, I
We
will, but I
appreciate
can
you,
talk
and
while
we'll
I'm
get
getting in
together
the car.
on the next call. Okay.